Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. You're listening to Holding Down the Fort with Alejandro Soto. Thanks for tuning in today. Appreciate you being here. Thanks for putting some of these sounds in your ears for a little bit and giving me a little bit of your time and attention. I really appreciate it. Today's guest is a real interesting one. It's I've got Rick Kinney, a local Fort Wayne musician, and I just mainly a musician. He's done other things. He's been in the scene, in the music scene, in a couple other capacities for a while. Um, and yeah, he and I have gotten to know each other talking over the salad bar at the health food shop, and I've gotten to see him play a couple times with his former band Mosier Woods, and yeah, he played drums for them, and I got to see him play a couple times, and a lot of good stuff. Really good group of musicians. So yeah, it's a real good conversation that I had with Rick today. We talk about a whole bunch of different stuff. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this conversation I had with Mr. Rick Kinney. Enjoy.
Why
Check
not?
1 2. All right, we're on.
Hey, you
Have
got
you?
me over there? How are the levels?
Let me put these on. I checked it
Okay,
before you
cool.
came in.
There
So
seems to be pretty low noise floor in here.
yeah,
Like it's relatively quiet.
it is. It sounds great. Yeah,
Cool, dude.
actually, even better than when I sound checked it.
Cool.
As long as the air conditioner will turn on and off. But
Yeah.
I've got a plugin that does a pretty good job of taking out like ambient noise.
Cool.
So yeah, it works really well on just vocal, like recording. So it can
Hmm.
take out like the vocal reverb and all the ambient noise and
Wow.
just leave the isolated vocal. It's pretty
Cool.
cool. Yeah,
The
technology.
AI involved with some of these
Yeah,
plugins these days
yeah,
is amazing.
yeah. It's an AI plugin, so I always give that disclaimer. So Rick, have you been on a podcast before? I
You know
usually ask
what?
that before I start recording, but here we are because we were already getting into the good shit.
I haven't.
Well,
I think this
cool.
is my first
Okay.
podcast. Cool.
Well, I could give you the pre-recording spiel now that we're
Okay.
recording,
While you're
and
doing,
maybe it'd be interesting. Yeah,
I'm gonna turn my phone down while we're doing
go
it.
for it. I actually
So
need to do the same. This is the fun of the show. Is like, I just figure it out on the fly.
I mean, that's
But
the best way to do it. That's life.
uh-huh.
Right?
I think I've talked about this a little bit in one of the episodes, but I usually tell people before I start recording this. But like I my goal with the show, mainly due to just my own laziness, is to release it as one file, like one recording. I don't want to chop it up.
Sure.
I don't know.
Sure.
That's those types of podcasts don't really interest me. Like they
Yeah, so
try
it's
to
like a unedited, just raw like conversation.
pretty much,
That's
yeah.
cool. I
I mean,
like
if
that.
you like name drop someone that you don't want to necessarily name
Sure,
drop, we
sure.
can take it out. But like, I give that disclaimer as well. But it's never really happened.
Right on.
And
Well,
it's usually pretty chill. Yeah,
no, I like
it's
that.
fun.
I'll be cognizant of what I say. Maybe more so than when I'm just, in my normal waking life.
So I usually start out with how I met the person I'm having on the show, and I was thinking about it. I think we really like met over the salad bar at the health food
I think
shop.
so, dude.
I mean, like
Yeah.
I knew of you like because of the internet and like Facebook, but then
Mhm.
like you started coming into the health food shop, and we just had a couple good chats
That's right.
over the salad bar,
Yeah,
and
dude. I
like
mean,
no, we both play and stuff, and yeah,
yeah,
it just seemed to
the best salad bar and grocery store in Fort Wayne, the health
it
food
rocks.
shop
Shout out.
on North Anthony.
Uh-huh.
On North Anthony. That's right. Uh, no, that place is amazing, and like Sarah, the fact that she just like took it over and grabbed it by the horns, and I I've been friends with her for a while, and we would have conversations during that time when she really wanted to buy the business, and
Oh,
I had
cool.
some business experience, so we would kind of brainstorm on things
Oh,
randomly, and
sweet. That's
I just
awesome.
was always so impressed with her like audacity and her aggressiveness with like I'm going to get this done. I don't know how, but I'm going to figure it out cuz she's passionate about
Mhm.
what that place is, you know, like the good that it brings to the community, and
Hmm.
whether it's food, supplements, health, just in
Hmm.
general,
Hmm.
you know,
Hmm.
she's got a great attitude. So
Yeah. Yeah, she and Laura, the other, they co-own it. They do
yeah,
a really good job. I give props to them for
yeah.
keeping that place going.
I'm glad it
it's,
is, man.
it's
It's the
really,
best place to
yeah,
take a pit stop.
yeah, yeah.
And then I think, I mean, it goes without saying, it's because of all the people, you know, that work there, that she's hired, like you and everybody
Hmm.
else. Like the
Hmm.
place wouldn't run without, and she talks so highly of her staff too. She's just like, she says, I got the best people, you know.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what it's about with business,
Hmm.
you
Hmm.
know.
Yeah,
You
it's
gotta
a
have,
real island of misfit toys over
yeah,
there. It's like really like the safe haven for Fort Wayne's weirdos that want a
for
bite
sure.
to eat.
For sure.
Which
And
is great.
everybody's welcome.
Yeah,
Nobody's made to feel unwelcome or
yeah.
anything. And
Uh-huh.
it's super cool. And you know what you're eating.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
there's nothing like going to a restaurant and just thinking like, oh man, this food is probably from overseas. It's been
Hmm.
frozen for 3 months.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Who
It
knows what
doesn't.
that kitchen looks like back there, you know?
Yeah, and like we have a real good like relationship with the health department.
Hmm.
Like I'm the person that talks to the health inspector
Oh,
after
cool.
she does her inspection, and like I mean I'll say this on record, this it seems to me like the things that she notes are things that she is noting down so that she has something on her report
Yeah.
if her superiors look at it.
Yeah.
It's like never anything that to me seems all that serious. It's like,
Sure.
oh, you have a rusty shelf over there.
Yeah.
Those light bulbs are out.
Yeah. Right.
Uh,
Yeah. Those
but
are the
never
things that you want to be told if a health inspector comes in.
exactly.
Like, yeah. Is it Samantha Papert?
No, no, no,
Okay.
no, no. It's Kayla is the gal's name.
Okay.
Yeah, does a really good job. Is like very attentive and like I can tell
Yeah.
is like doing her job very well. And so I
They have an important
appreciate.
job to do.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
some crazy stuff going on
yeah.
in kitchens in this world.
Yeah, so I mean, like the fact that, I mean, I think that we can step it up even like personally
Mhm.
and like do a better job, and like I can do a better job. But to see like how the health department is responding to us and like giving us good marks
Yeah.
also makes me kind of think, oh boy, what else are they seeing?
Oh
If
yeah.
like me wanting to keep raising my standards at a spot is like,
Sure.
great job guys on their end, which is what it is. But I mean it's nice to just see that coming from the outside and to like hear from customers as well, like people are getting benefit from the work that we're doing over there in the
Oh yeah.
HFS. It's
And
good
I feel
stuff.
like I've seen it grow. I feel like I've seen your business grow over there
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
since Sarah bought it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like I walk in there sometimes and it's like clamoring with people
Yeah,
around
yeah,
that hot bar and like the salad bar, and it's good to see that, man. It
yeah,
makes me happy.
yeah. Me too,
I
me
mean, a
too.
lot of it goes to my passion for like more of a secure food supply and a food system, and
Mhm.
more of a local food system, and getting away from bioengineered industrial farming, and getting
Mhm.
close, like getting back closer to like actual healthy food farming.
Yeah. Because there's a good amount of like local farmers,
Hmm.
like people who just have their small little homesteads that
There
come in
really
and sell
is.
their produce. I mean, like, I think the Amish people bring honey to
Cool.
us, or
Cool.
it's the Amish bring maple syrup. It's someone else that does the
Oh,
honey.
right
But
on.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just these people who are the ones that have their hands in the dirt. Like the guy who pulls the carrots out of the ground is the guy that I hand the check to for those
Oh, that's
carrots.
awesome.
Yeah, yeah,
There's
that's
some
so
amazing
cool.
farmers around here.
Dude, yeah, for real,
It's good.
for real.
I think it's obviously, I think that's growing and growing because so many people have really caught on to what our what our food supply actually is,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
the big agribusiness that exists. I mean, half of the food, I'm sorry, most of what we see growing in farms in the Midwest is not for human food, is not for
Hmm.
human consumption.
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
mean, is that tripped out or what? Like
yeah,
all that
yeah,
corn we see growing, it's made for syrups and like animal feed,
yeah. I've heard it's like cattle feed.
cattle feed.
A lot of it
Yeah, and
is.
it's
Yeah,
like, wait, we can't even eat it.
yeah.
It's so like it's so heavily sprayed with chemicals that would kill us that we're not even supposed to eat it now. However, they can feed it to animals that we eat, and that's just fine apparently. Like what the hell?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
dude. And then the
There was,
beans, have like the soybeans are mostly made for inks and like all these different soy products, like
uh-huh.
um,
Huh.
and then like the wheat, like a lot of the wheat stuff is it's just heavily nasty processed
Yeah,
shit,
yeah,
dude, with like glyphosate and like
yeah.
all of these nasty chemicals I can't even pronounce that are probably giving us like creating higher levels of like autism and cancer and all of the health issues that we see here in the
Hmm.
US.
Yeah, it's gnarly. And like then I saw a couple, I think it was last summer, I had my mom on because she went to Farm Aid
Oh,
that when it was down in Noblesville
oh, whoa.
at Deer Creek. And she like grew up in Illinois in like farm country and like kind of gave me the and like was around when Farm Aid started and like knew the history of like the farmland in the Midwest from a farmer's perspective and gave an insight into that of like back in the 80s farmers, I think there was like a drought or something, and so that's when
Hmm.
subsidies became a thing
Oh yeah,
because like they were going bankrupt.
for sure.
And then so it like but then those subsidies have turned into something different nowadays that isn't necessarily benefiting the
Oh
farmers
no, it's turned
anymore.
into it.
And
From what
it's
I've
yeah,
learned, I'm not an
I don't
expert.
remember all of it, but
Yeah,
go back and listen to that one.
like from what I learned, it's turned into a way for the U.S. government to, in my opinion, control farmers,
Hmm.
control the seeds that they buy, control the crops that they grow by getting them to a point to where these there's subsidies given out, but if they accept those subsidies, then they have to play by the rules.
Hmm. Hmm.
And then it gets to the point to where, from what I understand, a lot of these farmers can't even, they're just always on the brink of financial collapse and
Yeah,
bankruptcy.
yeah.
And then, they have to get loans from the bank. Well, they get loans from the bank, and the next thing you know, they can't pay the loans back because something happens. Subsidies dry up. It's a bad year, too much rain, not enough rain. And then next thing you know, the bank has first mortgage on the farm.
Yeah.
The bank takes it and then sells it to potentially a multinational investor
Hmm.
like a
Hmm.
BlackRock company,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
that's or even a Chinese company,
Hmm.
which is really scary when you have like overseas potentially adversaries,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
companies that are based out of those countries buying our farmland.
yeah,
I mean, that is
yeah,
real bad.
yeah.
It's really, really scary.
Yeah, I'm kind of on that line. I heard recently that it's a Chinese investment firm that is now the majority shareholder for Sweetwater.
Oh, that wouldn't surprise me at all.
Like it's a
Yeah,
Chinese firm that owns 51% since Chuck
sold it.
did his yeah made
Yeah,
his move
yeah.
onto his next chapter of life.
Entrepreneurship in
But
life. Yeah.
yeah, and I was like, whoa, what? A
I
Chinese investment firm
Well, I know they're
owns
based.
Sweetwater now.
I think they're
It's
based out
just
in
so strange.
maybe they're based out of the East Coast, New Jersey, but that's probably just their U.S. office.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. So I was
there's
talking
a
to a friend who like works there
okay,
and is like a little more like I'm just all I'm gonna say is he pays attention.
sure, yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
know um
sure.
but yeah, so it's how did we get here? Food.
Yeah, we were talking about the health food shop and food. Yeah, that's right, that's right. But food's important. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
honestly, there are things happening in the world. People, really bad people, use food as a weapon, and the food system as a weapon. This has happened throughout history
Mm,
in wars. I mean, people can use famine as a weapon of war.
mhm, mhm,
It's really sad. It's scary. And I think that when you allow a government to control the food supply, they have a lot of power over you, a lot of power over the people.
mhm,
And
mhm,
that's another reason why I think that it's so important
mhm,
for us to be in control of our food supply as much as possible and be connected to it and be
mhm,
connected with our
mhm,
farmers, because when that connection gets broken, then we're sitting here just kind of like, okay,
mhm,
I guess the government will do it for me.
mhm.
I'm just not
Yeah,
like that. I'm not
yeah,
into that at all. Which,
yeah.
but
It's
having said that, like I still go to the grocery store. I don't
mhm,
grow my
mhm.
own food,
Yeah.
you know. But being over in Europe this past month, I was able to see a lot of farms over there and learn a lot about their food supply and their
Mm,
food
mhm,
system. And they are much more. uh, locally, how do I put it? Their food system is much more locally based and regionally based.
Hmm. Hmm.
And they're fine, like that. You don't see controlled animal feeding operations over there, like big, massive, like warehouse operations full of
Hmm.
animals that eat corn that isn't for human consumption.
Hmm.
You see big fields of grass, and you see cows grazing. Then you see sheep's grazing.
Hmm.
Sheep's. You see sheep grazing. uh, and you see people growing food. Like
Hmm.
a field that's full of like corn or wheat or soybeans looks a lot different than a field that has like cabbage, tomatoes,
Hmm. Hmm.
pumpkins,
Yeah.
beans, peppers. I mean,
Hmm.
the farms over there were beautiful, dude. France, Switzerland, Belgium. It's just there's farms
Hmm.
everywhere. Like even in the city areas, if there's land that's open, people are growing food. It was
That's
so,
awesome.
dude. It was so inspiring to see
Cool.
stuff like that.
Yeah, last weekend I played at the Save Mommy
Oh,
fundraiser,
cool.
and it's on there. It was at their property that they own out in New Haven.
Yeah,
It's along the river.
yeah. Rose
And
Avenue.
yeah, yeah, super cool. I played up on the hill,
Oh,
which is
cool.
a former waste dump.
It
So
it
it's
was owned by Martin Construction Company, and so it was a construction.
okay.
It was a construction materials like
Mm,
landfill.
uh-huh,
So they would
uh-huh.
tear buildings down, and they would go put all that crap there. Yeah,
Oh, wow. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, that
I grew
checks
up in
out.
New Haven. That's the only reason I knew
Okay,
it.
so
Yeah.
yeah, you're familiar with the hill.
The old Martin property. Yeah. People
And
may or may not have broken into there back in the day and built big bonfires along the
oh,
river.
of
I don't
course
know.
you would,
Yeah.
yeah. And in the front of it is like a farm that the
It's
Burmese
amazing.
run, and it was beautiful.
Dude,
It was so amazing.
they grow so
Yeah,
much food out there. It's
it was
ridiculous.
awesome.
Yeah, right in the middle of New
Yeah,
Haven.
yeah, yeah, and yeah, they were out in the fields getting to work on it, and I was like,
Yep.
dude, these guys are awesome.
That's
Yeah,
very inspiring.
yeah, yeah, and like that, I wonder if like the older history and like Europe and in Burma, like those cultures are just older than American culture that
Yep.
exists more ubiquitously in the present day.
Hmm.
I wonder if like that is part of what has created the difference.
Yeah, we've industrialized our food system here in America,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and we've allowed biotech companies to control our farms and our farmers for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we grow freaking corn for fuel, for ethanol. I mean, to me that just seems asinine. I'm not an expert, but that just seems really fucking dumb. Like like
Mm-hmm.
we have to right now. Our entire system is basically built on fossil fuels.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't care if it's the ships that put like the ships that have containers that go across the ocean, or fucking trains that run on diesel, or semi trucks that run on diesel. It all is based on fossil fuels right now, and it's going to be a while before we're able to like transition.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to be we can't just like stop pumping oil out of the ground, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like instead of putting time into like figuring out how to turn food into fucking fuel like ethanol, how about we spend that time and money into figuring out how do we take the oil out of the ground in a safer way and have more like safeguards to stopping the environment from getting harmed? How do we do that in a more harmonious way with the environment as opposed to, and then how do we ship it safer? Like if even if it's an oil pipeline, put our time and money into figuring out how to keep those more secure to protect
Mm-hmm.
wildlife and our environment and our waterways, as opposed to like growing corn
Yeah,
for
yeah.
fuel. It just doesn't make any sense. We need to be. I just wish that we were putting our time when it comes to farming into like growing healthier food.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah,
there's a whole system in place that likes to
mm-hmm.
keep people sick.
Yeah. Well, and the growing corn for ethanol just seems incredibly complicated.
Hmm.
And I was talking to a friend of mine this morning about like how her washing machine has an app now. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
right.
and the washing machines suck.
The newer
Like we
ones
were
do,
talking
dude.
about how
Yeah.
like, 25, 30 years ago, that's the appliance you want, but
That's the
like
ones I
something
have.
nowadays, the fancy, yeah, you
Yeah.
still have them.
Dude, the same ones.
And like the
20 years.
ones nowadays that have all the modern technological doohickeys suck
They
a
suck and
lot
they
of the time. They
fail.
don't actually work
Yeah.
as well, and then they like don't work as long. And so I was saying like maybe it comes from my, I'm a musician and I'm a cook. So I plug pedals into like little pedal effect pedals together, and I chop vegetables, and like someone comes along and tells me that this AI powered knife with all these different built-in attachments is going to make me 150% faster until like I forget the charging cable at home.
Sure. Yeah,
And then I'm
exactly.
like completely screwed. I'm like, no, I'll use my manual knife. Thank you. Like I get it. And so it just kind of like looking at how oftentimes, at least in my experience, the simple solution is the best. I mean, that's Occam's razor, right?
For
Like you
sure.
find the simplest solution, and that is going to be the best and often like the most realistic.
Yeah.
Like it seems more realistic to make what we have safer, more efficient,
Hmm.
and just work better than trying to come up with a whole new system to jump us off of the old one.
And the
Like,
old one is really the old one is so connected to human ingenuity,
mm-hmm,
and I guess
mm-hmm,
the empowerment of humans, just learning and being and doing,
mm-hmm,
right? Like this
mm-hmm,
whole all of this AI stuff and all of the automation, it actually it's it I don't know if the word is disempowering or unempowering, but it basically takes power away from humans, um, to be the one, like we're using our brains. We need to be paying attention when we're driving down the road. We don't need a car that is constantly keeping us between the lines. We need to keep between the lines on our own.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And we don't need a vehicle that's telling us to keep our hands on the steering wheel constantly. We need to just keep our fucking hands on the steering wheel.
Yeah.
Like I experienced that when we were in Europe and we were driving this van. It was like a brand new van. It's like, keep your hands on the steering wheel. It's like ding, ding, ding. It was like, stay between the lines, ding, ding, ding. And then it's like all of these like reminders, driver fatigue warning, pull over. Like literally,
No
it was a
way.
new Ford van, dude. I couldn't,
Oh my
it was
God.
so annoying because our hands would be on the steering wheel or whatever. Our driver's hands would be on the steering wheel,
Uh-huh.
and it'd be like, keep your hands on the steering wheel. And the guy would have to like grab the steering wheel and squeeze it so it would recognize his hand. Dude, it was so weird. So like as more of this technology comes into our lives, it's going to be it's going to take away, even subconsciously, it's going to start to take away our brain activity and our brain
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
function.
Yeah,
It's kind of
yeah.
it's kind of concerning.
Uh-huh.
Like in our it's going to take it eventually we're going to be so, um I guess, autonomous ourselves. Like think everything's going to be so autonomous that we're going to forget. It's just the way that we used to be able to navigate with a bunch of printed out pieces of paper or
Mm-hmm,
directions scratched out. Like
mm-hmm.
growing up in the late '90s, early 2000s, we'd go to concerts in Chicago or whatever, and we'd
Uh-huh.
have to like literally write the directions down of how to get somewhere, or just use a fucking map.
Uh-huh.
You know,
Uh-huh.
how do we get to the
Uh-huh.
Aragon Ballroom in Chicago? You use a map. Well, now
Uh-huh.
you just put your GPS in your
You
phone.
you go northwest.
Yeah. Put your GPS in your phone and it tells you
Yeah.
where to turn, which I love. Don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah,
I
I use it all
fucking
the
love it.
time.
But I don't know. I've taken that away before and just tried to get somewhere with directions, and it's kind of hard because I'm so
Mhm.
used to it. So
Yeah.
that's, I guess, just an example of how
Hmm.
things are changing, and
Yeah.
they're going to continue to
That's
change.
why I choose to ride old steel frame bikes
Oh
from the
yeah.
90s.
Oh yeah.
Like I don't even want one of the like modern fiberglass
Carbon.
bikes
Yeah.
that's like 9 pounds. You can lift it with two fingers. Like, no thanks. I mean, I blew a tire this afternoon while riding, and I like had to hoof it a good 3.5 miles.
Damn.
And it was great.
Yeah.
Like I got some sun, I listened to some tunes, and
Heck yeah.
like I mean, kind of like what you're saying, it showed me, okay, if I'm up shit creek, if I blow a tire out at Foster Park, these will get me home, and I made it
Yeah.
here on time. Like
Hell
I
yeah,
got here
dude.
before you, I had time to set everything up. And
Yeah.
so like I think a lot of the invention and the innovation comes from a good place. I think a part of it is to try and like reduce anxiety, or like make things like easier for that purpose,
Mm-hmm.
but like sometimes a little bit of stress and like having to power walk in the heat of the day to get home so that I make it to the appointment that I've got set,
Mm-hmm.
like is a good thing.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
and I think, yeah, if I don't know, it's valuable to me. And
It's good
what
for
you were
us.
saying about like that self empowerment, like, yeah, I felt more powerful after walking my bike home than I would have if I had like called an Uber,
Sure. Yeah, it's
which I
like
totally could have done. Like if I had been a mile further away, I like would have been making some real phone calls. But I was like, I got time. I
yeah,
can make it.
it's like in it's
15-minute miles walking. Like, yeah, I can do
that's
this.
in the mid
It'll be a little
'80s.
inconvenient, but like I can make it work.
Sure.
So that's a valuable like skill, a trait, or like a mindset to have. Like, okay, whatever comes my way, I'll make
Yeah.
it work.
The power of the human will. It's
Mm-hmm.
like we don't want to lose that. We don't want to lose that
No.
self-confidence to just know not only that we can do things but know how to do them. And having that practice, you got to stay practice. We have to
Mm-hmm.
practice um, all these life skills in order to be able to do them well.
Mm-hmm.
It's yeah, we don't want to lose touch with that. I've been actually riding my bike a lot more lately.
Nice, nice.
Um, it feels good. It's good exercise. It's good to get some fresh air. It's freeing, and it's a reminder that it actually like I can get from my place out north by Shove Park downtown, and I don't know. It probably takes me 25 minutes to get down there on my bike. If I jump in my car, it takes me 15, maybe 20, depending on traffic. That's really not that big of a difference.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
like I
Yeah.
basically get to ride as the crow flies, as opposed to like staying, on my bike,
Yeah.
as opposed to like, jaunting down all these roads and
Uh-huh.
traffic. And then I finally get down there in my car. So
And you
it's,
got to park and
yeah.
like walk into wherever you're going. Yeah, I've got an apartment just over in the Lakeside neighborhood,
Oh,
and I
cool.
like teach a couple of yoga classes downtown. And at this point, it is faster to ride my bike where I can lock it up right in front of the door of the studio than it is to like drive down, find parking 2.5 blocks away, and then like walk down. It's like a lot of the time it seems that there's an illusion of convenience that's often cast.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're able to like be like, well, maybe I don't need to live in that, then like, it's a more realistic experience and can be more enjoyable,
Yeah.
even if
As long as the
you're.
weather's good.
Yeah, right. I
Yeah.
did ride home in like the downpour the other day, but it
It's
was a
terrible.
warm rain, so it was fun. I was like hooting and hollering,
It's
riding
probably,
through
it's probably good
downtown.
for us too. Like a good old rainstorm has never hurt us.
Yeah.
But man, since we're on the subject, it's like it just reminds me of how much I love modern luxuries, though. Modern
Hmm.
technology, like vehicles, cars, the fact that we can have a car
Hmm.
and go put
Yeah.
this fucking fuel shit in it and just drive wherever we want. I'm
Yeah.
still very thankful for it. I don't want to lose it.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
I don't.
But being able to appreciate them
Yeah,
properly, right?
for
And like
sure.
knowing, I mean, it's tools that we have developed, and like overuse of a tool leads to atrophy of the
Yep,
body,
for
right?
sure.
So,
Even the mind.
and yeah, that
Yeah.
too.
Which, the mind, I feel like the mind is a lot like any other muscle in our body. We have to use it and it has to be exercised and broken down sometimes to rebuild.
Mhm, mhm,
Um, and I don't know, maybe a certain amount of stress in life is good for us. I'm sure there's studies on it out there, but what doesn't kill us does make us stronger.
mhm, mhm,
And I've noticed I have some, odd resiliency, both mentally and probably even like spiritually, just because of the things that I've been through, mostly stress of just like different things that I've sought to um, accomplish, like
mhm,
whether it comes to business or whatever, just some big mountains to climb that were pretty stressful.
mhm,
Those times of stress. have kind of helped contribute to who I am.
Mhm.
You know.
Do you know Wim Hof? Do you know this guy, the
Yeah.
Iceman? Yeah,
That guy. Yeah.
I got into his stuff a couple of years ago, and in the summer I do cold showers,
Cool.
like because of Wim Hof and what he talked about with like the cold water being power. Like I remember him saying that like cold water is power.
Oh, interesting.
And like I mean he jumps in the water in Sweden. Like it is like 33-degree water and he's just swimming by icebergs in shorts.
I've seen videos of
It's-
that. I'm just like, this
and
guy.
like they've hooked him up to the EKG machines and stuff and he's incredibly healthy. He eats well is also and like has a wonderful family and like a great community and so like all of these things contribute to his good like life that he's living but his whole thing with the cold water is that it is a stressful thing and so like going into
Okay.
a shower, a full like cold water shower, it's like I mean, the first when I started doing it, I remember the first one I did because he says if you do 2 minutes, then like after that, it's pretty much the same thing. Like if you can handle
Okay.
2 minutes, you reach the point of like
Okay.
your body, your brain
What
is
needed
all
to happen?
firing.
What needed to happen happened.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So like
Okay.
you can go longer, but if you like get up to 2 minutes and then you're getting the full effect. And the first time I did it, I was like in the warm shower. I'm like, okay, cold shower time. And I flip the water all the way to cold and I start counting 1, 2, 3, 4. Fuck, it's cold. 5, so cold. 6, 7, 8. Jeez, 9,
Oh, dude, you need a
9,
timer.
9, 9, 9. And like my brain like literally just started skipping on 9. And I was like, I noticed it. I was like, my brain is shorting out from
Dude,
cold water.
that
And
experience,
I had to stop. And I was like, what?
it's almost like a
Literally
psychedelic
just cold
experience.
water. Like short circuited my brain.
Absolutely.
And I was like, okay, I got to do more of this. And like now I can like do the cold water up to 2 minutes and like
Cool.
it's not comfortable. Like I'm like breathing like a racehorse that just finished the Kentucky Derby. Like when I get in and I'm like psyching
Odd
myself up
experience.
in my brain. But like when I get out, it's like a calm in the body. Like, okay, yeah, we're good. We're stable.
Okay.
That that it like does feel like I'm like there's more power in the body after taking a little bit of
Hmm.
friction.
Kind of a reminder that you're in control in some ways, and like, and it's an interesting exercise. I have some experience with that. I guess I'll share my experiences with that. I have a very old friend, and he's got a Russian sauna
Mm.
installed on his property, which is basically a wood-fired stove inside of a
Okay, yeah,
small tent.
yeah.
And this thing gets so hot. I mean, you got, I mean, a couple logs in there burning, and he's got like the little pan that you pour water into to steam. I I mean, I'm pretty sure it was well over 220 degrees in there. Like it
Jeez.
was, because he has like three different thermometers up, just to make
Mhm.
sure that if one of them's not accurate, then the other ones are. Whatever.
Oh yeah.
I'm almost positive it was over 220. I should call him and ask him. But so we're sitting in the sauna, and then he's got a big ice bath outside of it.
Oh
So, and
yeah.
this is in the wintertime, here in Fort Wayne. So we sit in the sauna for 10 or 15 minutes and we're talking. I'm getting to the point where I'm like, dude, I'm getting pretty lightheaded. He's like, are you ready? Because the whole point, so this is what we did. We sit in there for 15 minutes. We get out and we walk straight to the ice bath and I submerge myself all the way to my chin.
Uh-huh.
And I'm
Uh-huh.
laying in this ice bath. And let me tell you, that first time I did it, that was the first like cold plunge experience I've ever
Jeez.
had. It was a out of body hallucinogenic psychedelic experience for me.
Jeez.
I definitely like feel like I like kind of left my body for a second. And he kind of coached me through it before I went in.
Uh-huh.
He's like, dude, just you're gonna have to be in control of your breathing and you're gonna have to keep telling yourself that you're gonna be okay. Okay. He's like, it might be a lot for you. And I'm like, all right, dude.
All right.
And I'm kind of an extreme person. Like
Uh-huh.
I like these types of things. And so I was really looking forward to it.
Let's
And I
go.
sat in there and I did have some trouble controlling my breathing, but he's sitting there next to me coaching me. He's like, just breathe slow. You're going to be fine. Keep telling yourself you're going to be fine. And that 2 minutes went by in what seemed like 10 seconds. That first time I did, I probably because I feel like I was just having this out of body experience. It was so intense. And so we get out and go back into the sauna. And I just remember feeling so, I can't even explain it. I felt different than I probably ever have,
Mm.
and I've definitely experimented when I was younger. I experimented with some drugs for
Mm-hmm.
sure. Like, and so I've had some pretty intense experiences. But that was one of the coolest uh, feelings that I've ever had in my mind and my body
Wow.
ever. So we sit in there for 10 or 15 minutes again, and then we go back and do 2 minutes cold
Uh-huh.
plunge.
Uh-huh.
And then we get out. And
Uh-huh.
I'll tell you, the second time that I did the cold plunge was actually harder for
Really?
some reason.
Huh.
Yeah, like
Maybe
the
because
time,
you knew.
well, yeah, the time went by slower. It didn't feel as hallucinatory, and it didn't
Uh-huh.
feel as like out of body.
Uh-huh.
It actually was kind of difficult for some
Mm-hmm.
reason.
Mm-hmm.
And then so we get out, go back and do 15 minutes in the sauna, then another 2 minutes in the cold plunge, and then 15 minutes in the sauna.
Oh man.
And it was a
So
very memorable, intense experience.
so like an hour
Pretty
or
much.
so of just like going back and forth, sauna cold, sauna.
Yep.
Dang.
It was intense, dude.
That's pretty intense.
It
Yeah.
really was, and it was a great experience. Um, if you're interested, at some point, I'll see if I can get a hold of him and we'll
Yeah.
schedule something.
That would be cool.
It's more difficult in the summer because you got to buy more ice, but whatever. I mean, you know,
Oh, yeah.
like the winter time's perfect for this shit, but
Uh-huh.
I kind of want to build one on my property. I want to have like one of
Mm-hmm.
these setups and saunas so in the winter
Dang.
time I could do
Oh,
these.
cool.
But it is a reminder of how we have to actually this is interesting. My therapist told me this like about 4 years ago. I was telling her, explaining something that I was struggling with in my own life, and it had to do with like relationships and how I've treated people in the past, and I was like, I need to make sure that I'm better to people. She's like, she said this, and I'll just never forget it. You have to control your own thoughts. You have to be in control of your mind and your own
Mm-hmm.
thoughts. She's like, you're the only one that can control that. She's like, I can
Mm-hmm.
tell you like what you should do and what you need to do. And she's like, that's my opinion, but I
Mm-hmm.
can't control your thoughts for you. And ever since that, um, it's actually helped me. That message like rings in my mind a lot of times when I kind of
Mm-hmm.
like start to, my mind goes off path and I
Mm-hmm.
start thinking about something that maybe I don't want to, or something negative or whatever. It's like taking me off the path I know I should be on. It's like, Rick, control your own thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And the mind is so powerful. And I just remember having that experience in that cold plunge where I had to control my thoughts. I had to control my breathing. I had to control kind of like my reaction. I had to control my body's
Mm-hmm.
reaction to this extreme insanity back and forth. And after it was all said and done, it was empowering. It reminded me, like, no, I'm in control of this shit,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the reasons why I don't drink as much as I used to. I've gone through these phases where I just don't drink at all because some of the only times that I feel like it was much harder to control my own thoughts is when I'm drunk or like
Mm-hmm.
drinking a lot. So
Mm-hmm.
that's one of the reasons it's made it easier to just not drink as much because I
Mm-hmm.
always want to be in control of my own thoughts, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, I think that's really good. I remember I like got on a nicotine kick. I
Mm-hmm.
was dating a gal and got on nicotine vapes, you know
Oh,
how
sure,
it
dude.
goes.
Yeah,
Um,
sure.
and the relationship ended, but the nicotine stayed. And I knew
As
in
it
my
does
mind, yeah,
sometimes.
as you know
Some
how
of
it
those
goes.
habits, like, yeah,
But I knew it wasn't good for me, and I knew I needed to like cut that out. But I couldn't, like, just that alone, like, oh, I need to stop this, wasn't a strong enough motivation
hmm
for me to actually stop. Because, like, nicotine's a wonderful chemical. It makes you feel great. I don't know. I
it can
enjoy
help
it.
with focus. It can
Yeah.
help with staying awake. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's a stimulant. It's
Mm-hmm.
crazy.
Yeah. So when used properly, it's very useful. But I was on my way out to band practice, and we were practicing out in like Columbia City, and I hit that nicotine vape a bunch, and it fucked up my throat, and I sounded like shit.
Oh, sure,
And
sure.
after that, I was like, okay, if this is going to prevent me from showing up for the band, the enjoyment I get from nicotine is not worth the potential loss of enjoyment playing with the band.
Yeah,
And
for
I had to
sure.
like supplement something that was like um, a larger positive in my mind over like I'll just call it an addiction.
Oh yeah,
And
I think that's
but
accurate.
yeah, I was an addiction. I was wanting to stop, but wasn't able to. But found that, and I've like told that to other people who are like trying to quit nicotine, and like I want to stop, and I'm like, this is just my thought. You have to find something that is greater in its benefit for you, that is above like
Yeah.
this to move towards, instead of like running away. Because I think it was like Alan Watts talked about the person who hasn't smoked in 3 years, 7 months, and 18 days, and they're keeping track, and they can tell you exactly how long it's been since they had a cigarette,
Holy
and
shit.
how that person is still addicted to cigarettes
Yeah,
because it's like controlling their
for
mind.
sure.
And so,
Every day. I guess if that's what it takes to for them to stay healthy,
yeah, exactly. Like
but
that's
damn.
better than not like than smoking 2 packs a day. But like
That's
if you really
intense.
want to free your mind from it, you can't be like holding on to it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Or you have to have something greater to move towards, like you wanting to like have a hold on your mind and
Yeah.
seeing what prevents you from achieving that, or like maintaining uh that
That the
that
level of
goal.
health, or whether
Yeah,
or
yeah.
stamina. I mean, I went through something like that when I was probably like 19. I had started smoking cigarettes, weed, opium, like when I was like 13, 14 years old. Because I was a drummer and I was hanging out with older guys in a band. You know, I
Hmm,
was in a
hmm,
band with these older dudes and they had access to all this shit. And
hmm.
I was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
And did a good job of like hiding it from my parents, you know? And but by the time I was like 19, I had been like drinking and doing all that shit and like, you know, LSD, mushrooms, nothing else. I never got into like coke or heroin or
Mhm,
anything, but I knew I did some like pharmaceutical pills and stuff
mhm,
like everybody
mhm,
back then. But I had realized at the age of 19, I was really started to feel weird. Like my body wasn't feeling right.
mhm.
And without even realizing it, I was pounding my body with like a pack of fucking cigarettes a day, eighth of weed on my,
Mhm,
all the shit that I smoked with all my friends. Like I probably was smoking an eighth of weed on my own a
mhm,
day,
mhm,
and tons of booze and all this other shit. And I'm like, all of a sudden it dawned on me. And I was eating really bad too. Like cheese
mhm,
sticks and fast food and fucking just like sugar cereals all the time.
mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. What am I doing? And I started to feel sick. And I thought, what if I'm on my way to developing like cancer or something really bad? Which is
Mm,
honestly what happens. Our bodies get acidic. We create a toxic environment in our own
mhm,
bodies where our immune system isn't able to fight things off. And, you know, I got really worried. And so that is when I realized, well, if I, I've always been obsessed with being a drummer. I've just always
mhm,
wanted to be a drummer. And it's been this kind of like talent and gift that I feel like I've I was given from when I was a little kid, and I've really really like grown that talent. So I'm like, I'm gonna ruin this. If I keep
mm,
smoking all
mhm,
this, I'm gonna
mhm.
ruin my lungs.
You're
And
not
that was
gonna
my
be able to like
inspiration.
keep, because that takes stamina.
It
Being
really
a
does.
drummer,
Yeah, and
yeah,
I was in a metal band at the
takes a
time.
lot of
Yeah, and
stamina.
so I was like, I have to stop, and I stopped smoking.
Nice.
And then I really like I slowed way down smoking the weed, and that was the time when I started to. I was like, again, my body wasn't feeling right. Something wasn't right, and I slowed down drinking, um, and I stopped at. I don't even know why, but I stopped at the co-op. By this time I was maybe 21, 22 years old, so I guess that would have been like 2003 or something. I stopped by the co-op when it was over on Broadway,
Oh yeah.
across from where the brass rail is now.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Where the co-op used to be there, like where the Phoenix was.
Oh yeah, yeah,
That
yeah.
was the
Okay.
original spot. I
No
was
way.
driving. I think I was driving for an audio visual company where I'd go out and like set up microphones and projectors and video shit for this AV company. And I would stop there like on a lunch break or maybe just to take a break. And they had free tea, like hot tea in the winter.
Oh, nice.
So I'd go in there and I'd get my free hot tea and I'd get like a bowl of soup. And it was this cool little like bohemian fucking co-op joint, you know.
Yeah.
It's like this place is cool. And they had like this rack of like printed out articles from magazines. Because like, dude, we didn't really have the internet that much
Mhm,
back then. We
mhm,
kind of
mhm.
did, but Nobody had a cell phone to look shit up.
Yeah.
And so all of these wrecks had like these articles, and I'd be reading through the articles, and it was all about our food supply and all about health and what, like, I mean, there was articles like about like what all of the barrage of vaccines are doing to people, and I was like, it just, that was the beginning of opening my mind up to this whole new world of what am I putting in my body? What is this? Like down to a molecular level, what is this shit that I'm eating or drinking or smoking? And that was the beginning of me thinking about everything differently and trying to put my health first. Not saying I've done a perfect job of it by any means, because like I definitely spent a lot of time in my 20s and 30s drinking.
Mm-hmm.
Plenty of time not being super healthy, but
Uh-huh.
going
Uh-huh.
back and forth. But now that I'm 43 years old, I've really found a good balance, and I just always want to make sure I'm in control of my decisions and my thoughts.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, but but it's interesting that some of us have the ability to control potential addictions because of our aspirations
Mm-hmm.
or
Mm-hmm.
our creative outlets or
Mm-hmm.
our creative interests. Not all of us
Yeah.
have that. I know there's people out there like they have such an addictive personality they can't stop.
Mm-hmm.
One thing leads to the other. I mean, I've heard that's what like heroin addicts struggle with. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's people that are addicted to sugar. There's people that are,
Mm-hmm.
addicted to nicotine. There's the addictions out there are just insane. The human condition
Mm-hmm.
is crazy, dude.
Uh-huh.
People are addicted to sex. People are addicted to love. My therapist was telling me that there's such thing as a love addict, where people get addicted to the feeling of being in love. And it's
Mm-hmm.
not about necessarily wanting to build a relationship and a life with someone, but they're addicted to that feeling of being in love and the new experience of being in love. We all know what that feels like.
Mm-hmm.
It is a wonderful feeling.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of different things that we can get like stuck into and addicted
Yeah.
to. And
Yeah.
I've been trying to recognize those things in my own life and
Mm-hmm.
grow past it,
Mm-hmm.
become a better person so I can put more of that energy into creativity. And for me, 100% right now, it is all
Mm-hmm.
music.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in like, I've got 4 different music projects going on, and another one that I want to do, which is more of a solo percussion thing.
Oh, cool.
And, we can turn, and I've learned this through a lot of different studies, but we can take our any kind of energy that we have and turn it, like we can basically funnel it and drive it towards whatever we want. We can,
Mm-hmm.
you can take pent up sexual energy, and you can fuel that into your creativity, into your music, into your
Mm-hmm.
practice, into your meditation,
Mm-hmm.
into running, exercising, whatever it is that we want. And that's one of the things that I've been working on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And like, I'm sure plenty of people have experienced like using anger as a motivator.
Mm-hmm.
And like, that's a really good one.
You're
Like,
looking at one of
anger,
them right here. Yeah.
anger is a real hot burning fuel.
Yeah.
But like, then you also have to be careful to not let it burn you up in the
Oh,
process.
of course.
Is And so I think that's what you're talking about with having that focus, like knowing where the energy is being directed and
Yeah.
like having an aspiration, having an aim instead of just like letting the energy lead.
Yeah,
And
instead
it's
of
like
letting the
being
energy dictate you, you actually take that energy and you use it as like you control it.
hmm
You
hmm
control your thoughts, you control your
hmm
actions. It's all simple. I mean, it seems like something that is just duh. It's so like that's what everybody's supposed to do. Of course we are. But actually doing it and
hmm
practicing it
yeah.
it's completely different. It
hmm
really takes work and discipline.
hmm and to be able to keep what we're talking about right now in mind, like when anger arises or
Mm-hmm.
like when sexual desire comes up, and to
Mm-hmm.
like remember, okay, maybe I don't need to punch a wall or like
Sure.
go out to the bar and hit on some random stranger.
Right. Right.
Maybe I can like direct this as energy, no matter what its form, how it appears, how it's presenting, and direct that into something else. Just like having that wherewithal when that energy presents itself in and of itself is a difficult thing that definitely takes practice.
It totally does. And a mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And but that is a, like touching on what you were just saying, like that is super badass. If you can take something negative like anger, or something that could be potentially negative, like an like basically kind of an overbearing like sexual energy or whatever that you might have, take that and turn it into something creative that can be like music that will outlive you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this like recorded material that everybody can enjoy, that can inspire other people, that can make them feel really good when they're down, or make them feel inspired and drive them to get their shit done. How amazing is that? Where you can take something that could be potentially negative in your life and turn it into something positive for not only yourself but other people,
Mm-hmm.
which is
Mm-hmm.
why I think music is just
Yeah.
well, music and art in general. It's so powerful.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is a transmutation. It's like
Totally,
an
totally.
alchemical thing that happens in art and creativity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's a beautiful thing, man. I was lucky enough to grow up in a house that, my mom and dad. I was born in Los Angeles, and my dad's from here. He's from New Haven, but my mom's an LA girl, and he moved out there and met her, and they had me, and they were always rocking like Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, like
Nice.
just killer classic rock
Yeah.
shit. And that, I mean, I literally grew up around that, like from the time I was in the womb. And
Mhm.
and my parents are really have been a great driver and inspiration for me from a musical standpoint. My mom and dad both have like just great tastes in music, and they're different.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
One is kind of feminine, like, and the other one is kind of masculine,
Uh-huh.
like, and
Uh-huh.
it's been so cool. And I'm still really good friends and close with my parents,
Nice.
and have great relationships with them. And my dad bought me my first drum set when I was like, I think 8 or 9 years old, because I had built drum sets out of buckets in my basement. Like, I would go get different size buckets from
Oh,
neighbors or friends, or
nice.
like at the
Yeah.
grocery store. I'd be like, Mom, will you buy this flower pot for me? Like a plastic flower pot. And I would take a serrated kitchen knife and I'd cut the bottom of the flower pot or the bucket out. And then I would take packing tape
Uh-huh.
and I stretch the packing tape.
No
I
way.
would
Yeah,
put strips
man.
of packing tape one
Uh-huh.
way to create a drum head, and then I'd
Uh-huh.
go the other way and I'd put like 4 layers of packing tape and tighten it. And I had a whole
That's awesome.
a whole fucking drum set made out of different size buckets. When I was like, I mean, I think I was 6 or 7.
No way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
that's human ingenuity.
dude, my parents were just like, "What is this? Where did you learn how to do it?" And I was like, "I don't know. I just because my friend's dad had a drum set, and it had the plastic heads on it,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
but I know the shit's expensive. I don't have money as a
Yeah.
6 or 7 year old,
So
and
you got
whatever.
tape.
My parents didn't have a lot of money. They worked their butts off, but like we didn't have a lot of money, so I
Uh-huh.
just made my own.
That's awesome.
And so eventually, my dad's like I was rocking out some shit on this bucket set.
Tubs and tape.
No, I had this stereo and I would play like, like old Metallica albums,
Hmm.
or like Nazareth.
Yeah.
My dad's Nazareth tape, like Hair of the
Nice.
Dog. And
Nice.
I
I
just
love that
I
song.
remember rocking out to that album and just
Yeah.
like playing it. And I think my parents were and like they were just so impressed with it. They're like, we need to get him a drum set. So my
You know
dad
the real thing.
bought me my first kit when I was like 9, and that was the beginning of me like joining my first band and jamming with friends when I was like 13.
Nice. That's cool.
And I've just worked in the industry my entire life. I've done a lot of other jobs too. I
Uh-huh.
think I did from the age of like my first job was working at Treon Tavern as a cook,
Oh
line
yeah.
cook in the
Out
kitchen.
in New Haven?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And I think I was making $5 an hour cash. It was like just enough to buy like a bag of weed. Like if I work 6 hours, I get $30 and I can get a really good bag of weed. I know that sounds so ridiculous, but that
Amazing.
obviously that's not me today. Okay, I'm talking about like 14 or 15-year-old Rick, right? But that's just the truth. Why
That's
not? I mean,
hilarious. What
that
else
was
are
the
you gonna
truth.
do in New Haven?
Yeah, I mean, my friends and I we had a lot of fun.
I've had
So
some fun in New Haven too. Oh yeah.
yeah, walking around Mosier Park, like maybe smoking a doob,
Uh-huh.
but again, that was like 30 years ago. So so from there, I worked every fast food restaurant you could imagine. I I think one year I had like 9 tax returns
Oh
because
my
I would
God.
like work. I mean, I worked at KFC for probably like 3 weeks and I just hated it so bad.
Yeah.
And because I had gotten kicked out of school, and I think my parents knew that no matter how bad they would try to get me to go, I would just leave. They were like, okay, you have to work. I was living with
Yeah,
my
you got to do
father at the
something.
time. They got divorced when I was 13. I think I was living with my dad. He's like, okay, you're not going to go to school. Like, you have to work. And so I would go and get a job and I would work there for a couple weeks, probably enough time to get a paycheck
Yeah,
and be like,
yeah.
fuck this place.
All right, I'm out.
I'm moving on to the next one. So then I'd go get another job. And I mean, every hot, hot now, Dairy Queen, KFC, Burger King, McDonald's, it was so stupid. Like Taco. But I learned, believe it or not, like I learned so much from working at those different jobs. You pick up a lot of like you pick up some work ethic, you pick up life skills, like social skills, interpersonal communication
Yeah,
skills. So
yeah.
I mean, I have no regrets.
Yeah, and there's like so many different types of people that you run into
For
working in
sure.
those places.
A lot of human
Like you,
interaction.
yeah, you really gotta like learn to get along with all kinds of people when you're working those kinds of jobs.
Hmm.
Because if you don't, like, you're gonna get the short end of the stick.
Yeah, and you can't just throw your hands up and walk out in your on your first day.
Yeah.
You got to at least wait a couple weeks, right? And then eventually I got a job working for Maine's Flower Garden, which is like basically it's a property in New Haven where this family would go down in Florida and pick up all sorts of flowers and plants, hanging baskets, and they open up in the spring and they close in the fall and they just sell plants and flowers as a seasonal thing.
Uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh.
So my job was to make sure was to water things and straighten out rows of plants,
Uh-huh.
like flowers that were for sale, and also they had like these RVs on the property where we would take breaks, and basically me and all these other teenagers would go and like drink beer and
Uh-huh.
smoke hella weed.
Yeah, hot box the van, RV.
And then we'd go out and then we go out and look at these beautiful flowers and
And
like
get these
take care
flowers
of
all
flowers.
in a neat, perfect row.
Yeah.
Oh, look at
I
it.
mean, people that were shopping there, I look back like, dude, they had to have known we were ripped. Like, I know that there were like 10 strips
All
of,
these teenage boys are being so polite.
yeah. Well, and
They're just
there were 10 strips of acid
busting
passed around. We were eating
flowers.
acid too. I mean, it was stupid. It was stupid. But we were kids, you know?
Uh-huh,
We were kids.
uh-huh.
We had fun.
That's
I think we
good.
were getting paid like 20 bucks an hour.
Uh-huh.
Maybe it was 10. I don't remember cash under the
Yeah,
table, like
yeah.
making really good money at the time. And it was like 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. every
Nice.
day. That was the thing. If you wanted to work there, you had to work every day 8 to 8. But you
Dang.
knew you were going to make so much cash.
You're getting
It was
banged.
worth it.
Yeah,
And you got to party and
yeah.
be outside hanging out with beautiful like flowers and plants and
Well,
also learning
plants.
how to take care of the plants. That I think that helped me with my green thumb. Like I was
Nice.
able to understand like what it takes. Like look at the plant as its own living being and how it needs to survive. I got pretty intellectual with it, I guess, when I was younger. But
Take some acid and water the plants. You really get in touch
well,
with
not
them,
only
man.
water them, but you have to pluck all the dead parts off and make you
Oh, and like
you
prune
clean
them.
them. Yeah,
Yeah,
clean
yeah.
them, prune them,
Uh-huh, uh-huh,
and that
uh-huh,
was a big part of it. And what you do
uh-huh.
is like you take a plant that looks really bad and you prune it and clean it, and all of a
Hmm.
sudden it comes back to life. And
Yeah,
it's kind of a
yeah.
cool process.
Uh-huh.
But I did that for a while, and then I worked as a landscaper for a landscaping company, and then I went to audio engineering school, and from that, like I think I graduated when I was 20. And from that point on, I have worked in like audio, video, lighting, rigging, live entertainment ever since.
Hmm. Hmm.
Haven't really veered off from that. Um,
Cool.
it's been fun. Weekend warrior, like
That's
playing music on the
awesome.
weekends, and you know, working in audio, visual, audio, video, lighting,
Yeah.
entertainment stuff to pay the bills so that I could go be a drummer.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Do your own stuff on your own time. That's
Yep.
pretty good. My aunt, or no, she's my godmother, and I had like visited her a couple of times. She lives in Des Moines, Iowa, so I don't get to see her too often. But like I'd been through to see her a couple of times crossing the country and was there at her place with a friend, and my friend asked me, "What does your aunt do for work?" And I was like, I have no idea. I know that she is growing tomatoes on her back patio that she uses to make salsa with her husband Ron that she gives to all of her friends. I know that she has a friend with a German pastry shop that she really wants to take us to because he's
Nice.
making legitimate, authentic pastries. She loves the farmer's market where she has lots of friends. I have no idea what she does for work. So she comes back into the kitchen and I'm like, hey, Joy, what's your job? And she goes, oh, I work at a bank. So anyway, as I was saying to you about this other thing, and it was like, that was it.
Whoa.
Like, and like I talked to her about it a little more later and it was like, that was just how she makes money.
Yeah.
And, you know, how she makes money is how she makes money.
But
But
it's
the
not her
things,
identity.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And like her identity was the things that she does with her friends to enjoy her life. And
Yeah.
that really stuck with me that like, yeah, even if you're just working at a bank,
Hmm.
you don't have to be a bank person. Like you can that can just be 8 to 5, 9 to 5, and then yeah, you're going to the farmer's market and the bakery and you're
Yep.
growing your plants and stuff.
A means to live out your passion in life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And I think that's a valuable thing for me to remember.
Well, I tell you, coming from, I'm probably a few years older than you. I've spent a lot of time in my life working jobs that, you know, from like I said, from my early 20s when I went to audio engineering school. I've always been interested in everything I've done for work, for money, but I can't say that I have loved it. I often loved it at the beginning, like a lot of jobs, and then eventually it just really wore on me.
Hmm.
I did that audiovisual job for like 6 years full time, and then I did it for 4 years part time as needed as I started my own company. And I got really burnt out on that because I really was just like, look, I'm just like putting these big shows together and all of this equipment and making all this stuff work. I was primarily an audio engineer. That was kind of
Hmm.
my main thing. And I was like, I'm making these shows happen for all these like corporate clients. I don't Lincoln Financial, Eli Lilly, all these companies that I really just don't care about.
Hmm.
And yeah, I'm making money, but this isn't my identity. This isn't really
Hmm.
interesting to me anymore. And I've had other jobs like I worked at the Embassy Theater for several years as the technical director. And I got
Cool.
to like, from the stage perspective in the Embassy Theater, I got to produce shows um, in conjunction with artists like Crosby, Stills, Nash, Steely Dan,
Oh, cool.
Alice Cooper, Alice in Chains. We did some crazy badass shows when I was there, and it was hard.
Hmm.
And that was during the time that after I bought the Clyde Theater, and I was raising money to renovate the Clyde.
Hmm.
So that's how I paid my bills and actually paid taxes on that project and all sorts of shit. But I have to say that I learned a lot there. It was enthralling. I had keys to the kingdom, the Embassy Theater, one of the most beautiful historic theaters in the country, and a very challenging, heavyweight job. Like, in charge of sometimes 50 stagehands locally, and then you'd have 20 crew members and a band showing up, and it's like, and then you got 2,400 people showing up to sit and watch it. Like, dude, the shit better be perfect. If
Hmm.
anything goes wrong, not anything, but if shit goes wrong, I mean,
Yeah.
there's life safety issues in a
Hmm.
theater like
Hmm.
that
Oh
where
yeah.
people can die.
Yeah.
And eventually that wore on me.
Hmm.
That became very
Hmm.
stressful.
Hmm.
The hours were just absolutely insane. Show up at 7 a.m. and then you don't leave until 1 a.m.
Yeah.
And if you got 3 show days in a row, by the time you get
Ooh.
home, take a shower, wind down, fall asleep, you're only sleeping for a couple hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not healthy.
Hmm.
And that was one of the reasons why I quit that job. I was like, this isn't healthy anymore. And that was the beginning. That was the beginning of me understanding that our health has to come first before career, and really kind of before anything, because if we're not healthy and we get sick or we just die,
Hmm.
then there's nothing else.
Yeah.
Like, you can't really go perform at your job if you're sick and dying.
Hmm.
And I got to the point to where I felt like I was sick and dying at times because I was like, okay, I was like not sleeping enough, working too much,
Hmm.
super, super stressed, probably drinking too much alcohol, drinking too much coffee, too much caffeine, smoking cigarettes every once in a while, a little tobacco here and there.
Hmm.
And it was unhealthy.
Hmm.
So like the jobs that I've had throughout the years, even though I was working in a really cool industry that I love, live entertainment, it was still a paycheck. And eventually the shit wore me down. And I raised all that money and rebuilt the Clyde Theater and opened that up and operated it for a year before I sold it. But by the end of that, I was worn out on that.
Hmm.
Um, and and then after I quit that and the pandemic happened, I kind of did a little reset of my own, tried to figure out what it was that I wanted to do, and eventually I took a job running the Fullinger Theater for the city,
Hmm.
and that became a very heavy, overwhelming, too many hours, stressful job as well.
Hmm.
And it was October of last year when the drummer from Primus, Herb Alexander, he
Yeah,
quit. He decided he didn't want to do it
I
anymore.
remember that. Yeah.
And I thought immediately when I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, I want to be the drummer for Primus, which is just like totally insane. I mean, I grew up listening to that band from like
Uh-huh.
13 years old or something, and so I was like, all right, this is what I want to do. I want to learn a couple Primus songs and record it and like, send it to him. And the next thing, so I started like learning some Primus songs in my studio, and the next thing you know, they did a call out and they said, we're going to do video auditions.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. I'm already ahead of the curve. So
Uh-huh.
I kept doing it. And then thankfully, my good friend Steven over at Silver Birch Studios was gracious enough to be like, you can actually utilize the studio to make your video. And that's where I actually learned how to edit video. And
Cool.
so I've done quite a bit of volunteering over there and just like helping out here and there. So I went in there and made that video and I got this thing done and it was like so much fun. It was like this creative process of editing video and audio and recorded a couple Primus songs and took some stuff, some original material that I had done with Mosier Woods and some other bands and sent it into him. And it was really one of the coolest things I've ever done. It was during that process that I was reminded of what my true calling is, and that is like being a musician, being a drummer, and
Hmm.
that's why I got into the industry and why I rebuilt the
Yeah.
Clyde and worked at the embassy and ended
Hmm.
up working at the Fullinger. And I was like, dude, even if I don't get this job, which you know, there's like 6,000 people that submitted videos. I was like, even if I don't get this, I want to figure out a way to do this. I'm
Hmm.
43
Hmm.
years old. Like, I'm not going to keep working doing shit I hate for the next 8 years and then it's gonna work in my 50s. I need to fucking do it. I
Hmm.
don't care if whatever, I'm gonna figure it out. And of course, like I didn't get the job playing for Primus. Some really badass drummer named John got it. And but that was the beginning of me really kind of putting myself out there differently and also putting like the thoughts and the energy out there to the universe that that's what I wanted. And next thing you know, I got a text from my friend Joe, guitar player and singer of Left Lane Cruiser, and he's like, "Hey man," he's like, kind of crazy, but my drummer Bren, he can't make this tour, and we're supposed to leave in like 3 weeks. Is there any way that you can do this? And I immediately was like, "Oh shit." Because I had messaged him a couple times in the past, like, "Hey man, if you ever need a drummer,
Uh-huh.
I would
Uh-huh.
love to come play with you."
Uh-huh.
And then Mosier Woods has been winding down a bit because our piano player and primary like composer, he got tinnitus so bad, probably from maybe work driving trucks and also just loud music. He can't really play anymore. So that was kind of winding down, and it opened up energy for me to be able to do this. So I took a couple weeks off of at the Fullinger Theater with the city, and I went out on like it was like a 16 city U.S. tour.
Heck
It was
yeah.
at that time it was like just one of the funnest, most enthralling things I've ever done.
Nice. Nice.
It was a lot of work, but I learned all those songs and we killed it, man. And we learned that we get along really well.
Nice.
So Left
Yeah,
Lane
that's
Cruiser is
important.
it's just a two piece guitar,
Uh-huh.
vocals, and then drums and vocals. So
Nice. Oh, cool.
it's a lot easier like traveling as a two piece as opposed to like
Hmm.
6, 7
Hmm.
people or
Hmm.
whatever. So we made it happen and it was so much fun that and it worked out so well that Joe said, he's like, dude, do you want to go to Europe and do this? Because Joe has about 20 years of experience touring Europe
Nice.
every year.
Cool.
So
All
I
right.
said, I really do. And without telling him, I knew in my mind, this means I'm going to have to quit my good job. And I'm gonna have to make a complete life transition, like big 180. Quit my good job working in the industry that I was really burnt out on. Like I'm not burnt out on music. I'm burnt out on being the guy that organizes the concerts and deals with all the problems. Like I'm become an expert in making everyone else's dreams come true. Like as far as music goes, like the people that show up, the fans, I want them to have the best experience ever. Like from every aspect. The bands that show up and the crew, I want them to have the best experience. And I've had enough now. I know how to do that, but it's fulfilling. But it's really I had a hole in my heart because I was missing out on being a drummer and doing what I wanted. So I gave like a 30-day notice and told the parks department like, hey, I'm going to Europe and we're supposed to leave on this date and we're supposed to do this other tour, so I have to be done by this date and I'm going to help find a replacement. And so ended up helping them find a replacement and it worked out well, and I think she's doing really good over there, and I was able to go to Europe
Nice.
and we just yeah, we rocked out like a ton of shows all over Europe, and we went to the UK and played a bunch of shows in the UK. I got to see things and history and architecture and art that I never really expected to be able to see. I knew I always wanted to, but it's expensive to travel, and it's like um, it can be difficult. So like setting down your life and just going to Europe for
Yeah.
a month. The older you get, the harder it
Yeah.
becomes.
Yeah.
So it was honestly the best experience of my life. It was so cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, we rocked it, dude. Now we became even closer. Joe and I became
Heck yeah.
closer friends, and
Heck yeah.
we get along great on the road and stay pretty healthy. And so we're gonna keep doing it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
So I guess my whole point of that is, it's like throughout my life I've figured out that um, I really just I want to be a drummer. I want to be an artist. And it's something that like you say as a teenager. A lot of musicians are like, I just want to be in a band. And of course your
Yeah,
parents
man.
tell you like, dude, that's really not viable. And to an extent maybe they're right, but at the same time it is viable. I'm paying my bills right now playing music, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of sacrifice involved with that. It can be, I think, like traveling as a musician can be really hard on relationships, and it can be hard on the person that's traveling because it's fucking a lot of work and it's difficult. And but it's worth it. Like being able to do what I love and not having to show up to a job that I necessarily don't love is that's kind of what it's all about for me
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
Feeling
Yeah.
pretty grateful, a lot of gratitude to just be able to do that.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. That's fucking awesome.
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna go for it, dude. I don't care. I'm just
That's what's up.
gonna go for it.
There's I don't know if you've listened to much of the Grateful Dead, but there's a
Mhm.
line in one of the songs, sure don't know what I'm going for, but I'm gonna go for it for sure.
Oh, cool.
I like that
I love
one.
that.
Yeah.
Do you remember what song that is?
Um
We'll figure it out after the
I think it's
podcast.
Saint of Circumstance. It's at the end of it. It's like kind of like a
What is it? What is it
tag.
called?
Saint of
Saints of
Circumstance, because they
Circumstance.
do
Cool.
they do Lost Sailor into Saint of Circumstance, and so
Cool.
I think it's like at the end of the track, like after the final chorus, there's kind of like a tag on the end, because they did that on some of their songs. There would be like a little vocal tag
Hmm.
with like just maybe a slight
It
variation on the
is.
chord progression.
The last line is, listen, I sure don't know what I'm going for, but I'm gonna go for it for sure.
Uh-huh. And then they just like repeat that
That's
over and
awesome.
over, and that's a mantra for sure.
Oh, I'm
Whatever.
listening to it as soon as I
Oh,
walk out
it's
of here.
so
I
good.
love the Dead.
So good.
I didn't love them growing up, and I didn't really get it because
Hmm.
I just heard recordings.
Hmm.
And then a friend of mine, Donnie, one day he called me at like 10 in the morning. He's like, "Dude, what are you doing tonight?" I'm like, "Nothing." This 15 years ago, and he's like, "You want to go to a Dead show tonight with me in Chicago?" I was like, "Hmm, sure." So he picks me up and we go.
Hell
Okay, this
yeah.
is a cool
I
story.
want to hear this one.
Okay, so he picks me
Because
up.
15 years ago
It was at
is
15 or 20. It was when Warren Haynes was playing.
oh,
He was playing.
is he playing with Bob Weir?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay,
It
yeah,
was the
with
Gra-
Rat
it was
Dog.
no, it was the Grateful Dead.
Oh,
It was Warren Haynes playing the part of Jerry as the
oh,
Grateful Dead. Maybe it was
wow.
20 years ago. I don't know, but I
Or
just
was it the Fare Thee Well shows? I don't know.
no, I don't
Anyway,
think
who
so.
knows?
This
Warren Haynes.
I believe I want to say it was at like the Rosemont
Okay.
Arena or something. I don't know, but it was in
Cool.
Chicago. And I
Cool.
didn't really know what I was in for because it was my first day. And I never got to sing with Jerry, you know, like
Uh-huh.
I'm not going to
Uh-huh.
act like but it was an experience. So
Yeah.
we get up there and we're walking around the parking lot. Of course, there's fucking vendors everywhere and it's Shakedown Street. And I mean, I had been playing festivals that were hippie festivals with Mosier Woods and
Hmm.
all of these. Like we had our fan base was very Grateful Dead oriented and jam
Oh,
band
cool.
oriented because
Yeah.
we're a progressive instrumental rock band.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And so I was very familiar with the scene. We'd done a ton of festivals with Dark Star Orchestra.
Oh, cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I thought I knew a lot about the Dead, but so we're walking there and he runs into an old friend of his. And he was like, um, basically he's like, dude, do you guys want some liquid? And I was like, no. I hadn't done acid in like, I don't know, 5 years, 6 years. And I just wasn't, I'm not, and this is,
Yeah.
and how I am today, I'm not prepared for that. And I don't really
Yeah.
want that or need it. Like life
Yeah.
is already enough.
Yeah.
I don't need acid. When I was younger, it was a different story. Like
Uh-huh.
I'd eat it every other day. But so, and I was like, no. And Donnie's like, dude, it's Grateful Dead.
Yeah, this is the time.
And of course, he's like, dude, this is really clean. This is really clean LSD 25. No, anybody can say that. It could have been
Yeah.
fucking fentanyl. I mean, really, that's what's
Yeah.
scary. But
You
I
just gotta
said,
take a
okay,
guy's
fine,
word.
fuck it. So he dumped a little puddle in my hand, and I just ate it, and my friend ate some, and like, dude, it wasn't like 20 minutes later. It just
Uh-huh.
slammed me as we were
Yeah.
walking into the show.
Uh-huh.
And
Uh-huh.
and it was clean though, because I've had enough experiences with a lot of different
Got
kinds
some
of acid.
brown acid.
I know what's clean and what's not, dude. This shit was clean
Yeah.
and it was good. And so we're sitting there and it just immediately hit me. I knew exactly, I just understood the experience of why
Yeah.
everybody loved the Grateful Dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and I was like, I need to go get some water and like take a leak. So
Uh-huh.
I get up, I walk into the little area of this arena, like where they have like the food vendors in the bathrooms.
Uh-huh.
And I look across. This is so crazy. I'm in Chicago,
Yeah.
tripping my face off. I look across the fucking like rotundra or whatever, and I see my mom,
No way.
who I'm like really good friends with, but at the time,
100%?
oh yeah, I'm like, and I'm staring at her, and she's staring at me like this, and I'm just like, oh my, what the fuck is going on, dude? Right? So I like kind of slowly, and there's sheriffs everywhere. And of course, like
Uh-huh.
I'm tripping. And
Yeah.
you get a little weirded out maybe
Yeah.
sometimes or
Yeah.
whatever. But I walk across there and I just look at her and I go, "What are you doing here?" And she looks at me with like really big eyes and she's like, "What are you doing here?" So
Incredible.
so at the time she was
Uh,
married to my stepdad,
Uh-huh.
who was a huge Grateful Dead fan. And they lived in
Nice.
Chicago.
Oh, yeah. So of course they were there.
She had no clue I was going to be there because I
Yeah.
left that morning. I didn't call my mom.
Yeah.
Mom, guess what I'm doing? Like, and I mean, like, I was like peeking, like
That's
hanging out with my,
incredible.
and all of a sudden we were just laughing so hard, like we were crying because of the circumstances that actually brought, we were both standing in this arena, and so we get a kick out of it. I get something to drink. She gets something to drink. We're like, let's go back and watch the show. And as it turns out, she's sitting like 10 rows down from me, like
No
almost
way.
right in front of where my buddy and I were at. So like it was really cool. I think my buddy Donnie went and traded seats with her and he hung out with my stepdad for a second. My mom and I chilled, like watched some of the show, and then we all four of us got together, and it was just
That's
like
so
it was an
awesome.
experience, and the
Yeah.
show was fucking killer.
Oh, yeah.
It was so good. And I wasn't really into the Dead because of the recordings that I heard. The recordings don't really pick up the magic of what happens at a Dead show.
No.
And
No.
honestly, like of course I don't really understand the magic of what happens at a Dead show because I never got to see him with Jerry.
Mhm,
So
mhm,
again, I'm not going to
mhm.
act like I got to have the experience, but
Yeah.
I had to have a experience
Yeah.
with,
Yeah.
and Warren Haynes is a badass
Great guitar player.
and
Yeah.
singer. And they were on that night, or at least I thought they were. I mean, Definitely felt like they were on. And they have a killer lighting show. You know, their light show is absolutely insane. Their light rig is badass, and the energy of the crowd. It was a cool experience.
Mhm. That's really what I think it's all about is like the people.
Hmm.
There's this story from the band that like there was this point where they realized the show was happening just as much down on the floor in the audience as it was up on the
Oh,
stage.
for sure.
And like just that spirit that like it's everybody coming together to do this thing.
That's right.
And like, yeah, everybody's welcome. You
Hmm.
run into your mom.
Yeah.
Like at the last Dead show I was at, I took my sister for a walk during the drum space section,
Oh,
and it
cool.
was down at Deer Creek.
Your sister that I know from the health food shop.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Oh yeah. We do
Cool.
Dead shows, and
Sweet.
yeah, and we're like walking along the sidewalk that's between the seats and the lawn
Yeah.
down at Deer Creek. And like it's the crazy part of the show where Mickey's playing the beam and it's like whoa going on. And literally out of the shadows pops Phil Sugar and he taps me on the shoulder and goes, boo. And me and my sister lose it. We're like, oh my God, Phil. Just
That's
like
funny.
wrap him in a hug. And then like go back around to, and then on the back of the lawn, because we just did a big loop because
Oh,
we
I
had
love
people
that walk
around.
at shows.
So good.
That venue, Deer Creek, is the
Yeah.
shit, man. That
Yeah.
walk, I've done that so many
Oh.
times. Just that because you do get to experience the whole vibe of the
Mm-hmm.
fucking
Mm-hmm.
crowd and like the show, and you
Yeah.
stand at the back
Yeah.
looking down, and half the
Mm-hmm.
time the moon's up here,
Yeah.
the sun's coming down over here. There's a big lightning storm over
Yeah,
here.
yeah, man. And we were at the back of the lawn, and another friend of mine jumps out of the shadow. It's like, brother, gives me a big hug. And she was there with her partner, whose birthday it was that
Oh,
day.
no way,
I'm like,
cool.
Julia, it's Dan.
Oh, that's
It's Dan's
awesome.
birthday. And
Oh,
so
that's
it's just
awesome.
like we go for a walk and run into a whole bunch of people that we know and are just like giving hugs, having smiles at like the trippy part of the show.
What
It's
an
like,
experience,
yeah,
man.
we're just giving people hugs, going for a walk around the neighborhood, and like that's what it's about for me.
Absolutely, dude.
Yeah,
The experiences that humans have created for ourselves are just fucking mind blowing.
yeah,
Every
yeah.
like we do things like flying in a jet at 40,000 feet above the earth at like hundreds of miles an hour,
Uh-huh.
like literally traveling through time and space. So like um we're basically we're doing time traveling when we fly in a jet. If you think about it,
Mm-hmm,
you know,
mm-hmm,
you go
mm-hmm.
crossing over time zones and shit,
Yeah.
and like big concerts with lighting and fucking sound and all of these instruments that we've figured out.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it is. And to kind of come back around to appreciating it,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we have all this stuff, and like I mean, I'm about to load in my sound equipment that's in my van right now to DJ the art show that they're doing in here on
Oh,
Saturday.
cool.
And like I'm it's like my mindset this summer has been I've got the gear, I might as well use it.
Yeah, man.
And so I've been doing like a shitload of charity events, free
Oh,
events and
cool.
stuff just cuz like I
Cool.
don't have to buy any more stuff. And even the stuff that's in my van right now a fella gave to me
That's
cuz he
cool.
wanted to see it be used.
Pass it on, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah, keep
yeah,
passing it on. Like
yeah.
those things. I mean, I've never regretted volunteering and helping people out.
Mhm.
Even if people have like kind of like hosed me over in the future that I've helped out, I still don't regret helping. Like,
Mhm. Mhm.
you know, that's how the world goes around.
Mhm.
You know, it's
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
putting energy into one thing and maybe it comes back to you one
Mhm.
way or the other.
Yeah.
Probably will. Well, in my opinion, it always does, no matter what we do,
Mhm.
good or bad.
Mhm.
That's you're putting energy out there. It's always
Yeah.
going to come back.
There's I just saw a piece about a like drug rehab facility
Mhm.
in I think it's in Albuquerque actually where like the fentanyl problem's really fucking bad.
I've heard.
And
Yeah.
they have like four things that the residents have to like do each day. Like one of them is taking care of like your mental health. You got to do something for your body to take care of your body. And then like I think it's like once a week for like or like 3 hours a week or 3 hours a month, they have to serve the community with no expectation of receiving anything
Nice.
in return for
Nice.
that. And like they put that as part of how you're going to get well. You just help people out for the sake of helping people out. And that will make you a better, healthier, more rounded person. And I was like, that's pretty good.
That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
yeah.
really, it gives you a gratitude and a sense of appreciation.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
And it's kind of like you don't really know it until after you do it and you feel it
mm-hmm,
with
mm-hmm,
those
mm-hmm.
things.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and there's really there's no way to explain that feeling of just like I just it sounds stupid cheesy, but like if I see somebody struggling, like I've parked my car before and just ran over and helped them. Like old dude or whatever, old lady with like a wheelchair on a sidewalk that has big massive bumps and it's going uphill. This just happened like a couple months ago. And I just like this fucking dude was struggling, man. He's like literally stuck and he's putting his head up and he's just like I just like go park my car. Dude, can I push you? He's like, oh my gosh, dude. Oh man, you don't understand what this means to me. I'm like, I took 5 minutes out of my day to push this dude up a
Uh-huh.
sidewalk and get him to the next turn so that he could get down to the bus stop. And to him, I probably got him there so he could catch the bus he wanted. And it was like, he says, oh my, I can't believe you're doing this for me. Like, that's what we should all be doing all the time, just
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
trying to help each other out as much as
mm-hmm,
possible.
mm-hmm,
Um, but there's a balance there.
mm-hmm,
After I
mm-hmm,
sold to Clyde, got I was asked to be on like a bunch of different like board of directors and like volunteering here and volunteering there, like
mm-hmm,
Junior Achievement and Fort Wayne Community Schools Foundation and what was the other one? Gosh, there was like a wine and beer festival that was a fundraiser um, for kids, and I'm like, so I'm doing all these things, and it's things that I appreciate and that I care about. Well, like Fort Wayne Community Schools Foundation has the Be Instrumental program, and they get musical instruments in the hands of kids whose parents can't afford it, so that they can be in
mm-hmm,
band. I'm like, this is fucking awesome. I'm gonna do this. But what I learned is that eventually, like, you stretch yourself so thin that you start to not be able to take care of yourself
mm-hmm,
and taking time. I was
mm-hmm.
taking time away from the things that I needed to be doing, and so that's when I was learned and was reminded there's a balance there.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
if you
yeah,
don't
yeah.
take care of yourself, you really can't show up and be present for others.
Mm-hmm,
So,
mm-hmm.
there's always a balance
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Like fill your cup up first.
Yeah,
Put your own oxygen mask on before you help
that
others
whole
affix
thing.
theirs.
Yeah, dude. That for real though, it's
Yeah,
true. It
yeah.
really rings true.
Uh-huh. Well, hell yeah, dude. Well, that's an hour and a half.
Nice. That was a good conversation.
Yeah, righteous. Thanks for being on the show.
Hell yeah.
It's been like a bit of an uphill battle this summer, so I'm glad that like I haven't been doing it as much as I would like, but I'm glad that I'm still able to make this happen and you made some time to come in here today.
I'm happy to do it.
Appreciate it.
I appreciate the fact that you asked me to do it and you think that the bullshit I talk about is interesting or whatever. That's
Yeah.
cool. I always like I'm a talker though, man. I like connecting with people and I like getting to know people and talking. So
Heck yeah.
thanks for having me on.
Absolutely.
It's fun.
Do you want to point anyone to anything? Do you got stuff coming up? Where you got four,
Yeah.
hopefully soon five projects. So
Yeah. I would say pay attention to like my social medias. I think on Facebook it's just Rick Kinney, and then Instagram is Rick Kinney Music, and I think TikTok is Rick Kinney Music, and my YouTube is actually Rick Kinney Music as well.
sweet, sweet.
And so I'm going to be. I captured probably definitely over 100 hours of content when I was in Europe,
Nice.
and on on the other U.S. tour that I did with Left Lane Cruiser. So I have a lot of editing to do, and I'm gonna start posting a lot, and it's gonna be music related to live shows, like some of the live shows that we did and live content. But it's also gonna be a lot of just like walking around these cities, talking to people, meeting people,
Sweet.
and then uh, like I went hiking in the Alps when we were in
Oh,
Switzerland. So
nice.
I brought one of my cameras and just recorded the hike, and I'm gonna be narrating some of
Nice.
that. And
Nice.
we're talking about putting this thing together. It's like kind of a parody on Travels with Rick Steves. I'm gonna call it like Travels with Rick Dweebs, and then maybe lifestyles of the broken shameless with Robin Bleach. Like we're gonna start putting some funny content out there, but
Heck
also
yeah.
that some content that like has some that has some legitimacy to it, like some fun, some cool shit like music,
Yeah.
travels in different cities, a lot of
Heck
nature
yeah.
stuff.
Heck yeah.
I'm gonna be pumping out content from
Nice.
the travels of the Left Lane Cruiser, but
Nice.
also The other projects that I'm doing, I'm going to start pumping that out. I'm in a metal band called Fault Liners. It's like a 4 piece, just kind of heavy rock, like straightforward
Sweet.
driving shit. I'm gonna be putting some content out from that here in the coming months.
Nice.
And then
Nice.
Mosier Woods has some stuff on the horizon of content that's already
Oh,
been
really?
captured that we're going to be
Sweet.
releasing
Sweet.
in the way of video.
Nice. Oh, I'll
And
be
then
excited to see that.
there's another project I'm working on with Lance Hepner, which is his harpeggi with electronic percussion.
Oh, sweet.
So
Sweet.
yeah, there'll be a lot of stuff
Nice.
coming out.
Nice. I'll put
On
links to as much of that in the show notes as I can.
Cool,
Heck
dude.
yeah.
And
Heck
then
yeah.
also the Left Lane Cruiser tour. We're gonna go out and do a little. We're gonna do some shows with Weed Eater, and then
Nice.
we're gonna be doing some
Nice.
other touring. We have a festival to play in Austin, and kind of
Cool.
skimming all around, all over
Heck
the
yeah.
place.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, dude.
Thanks for
Come
having
on
me
the
on.
show again sometime.
I'd
This
love
is
to.
great. Super fun.
I'd love to, dude. That was fun. Thanks for listening to me.
Absolutely.
I enjoyed it.
Well, thanks, Rick. Thanks for being on the show. Thanks for sitting down and chatting with me for a while. I really enjoyed it. Had a good time talking to you. And yeah, really, really always appreciate everybody who's been on the show. If you've listened this far, thanks for checking the whole thing out. Um, I'm planning on this being the last episode for a while. If you know, I never say never, but let's say a hiatus, long-term hiatus. So, everyone who's listened, thanks for listening. To everybody who's been on the show, thank you so much for giving me your time. It's been a real fun experience for me, and I've learned a heck of a lot from everybody who's been on this old pirate radio show of mine. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Oh, I'm gonna close the show out with the Los Lemons song. That's the intro tune. So kind of, wrap it up where it all started. Here's Slow Down by Los Lemons. Thanks for listening, everybody.